Today I'm conducting a simple 2D ortho mapping mission on the Matrice 4E, but this workflow works on any DJI Enterprise aircraft. We'll plan the mission directly on Pilot 2, enable cloud reconstruction, fly it, and then watch FlightHub 2 generate a clean, usable ortho automatically via the internet, literally in less time than it takes you to pack away your drone. No complicated setup, no desktop processing, just plan, fly, upload, and your map is ready. Watch the magic happen. So let's jump straight in. Hello, so I'm outside now, and what I'm going to do is something really interesting, and this is just quickly create a mapping mission in Pilot 2, and we're going to fly it, but what we are going to do here is we're going to actually do the online reconstruction. So as the drone is flying and it's taking imagery, it'll be uploading it onto our FlightHub 2, and then the program will automatically be creating a 2D map. So rather than us having to go back with the SD card and the drone and plug it in, it will all be done automatically, well, over the interweb. So here we go. So we're not really going to delve too much into the planning as such, but we're going to just click on route and then press the plus sign, and I'm going to create an area route. So I'm in this area here, and what I'm going to decide is I'm going to just click here on the top left and then the top right, take us down a little bit here and then over here. Okay, and that's about it really. That's all I want to do. I'm now going to press that little tick button, just make sure everything's okay there. Lovely. Yeah, I want to do an ortho collection. I don't need smart oblique. So I'm going to do cloud reconstruction, so it won't let me do the local mapping if I've got the cloud reconstruction on. So we're going to do that. And we're using the altitude relative to takeoff. And we will reduce our altitude from 186 all the way down to 56 meters. Elevation optimization, yeah, that last run, that's what we want. Save takeoff, excellent, and we've got the speed there. Everything is great. So all I need to do now is press the save button. I am good to go, and then I'm going to press the play button. Just check out I've got everything in my pre-flight checks and everything seems okay. I'm just going to turn up the alert for the brakes, because remember what I did was just take it down when I was doing the smart 3D capture. And yeah, we'll take that up as well. And critically low budget, that's fine. Excellent. We'll press the next button. Cloud reconstruction is on, so that's fine. And everything else is good. I'm going to change the camera mode to auto, so I'm happy with that. Upload. And then press the start button. Ah, there we are. Here we go. So as you see, it's just rising and it's going to go to the start location now. Alright, here we are. It's just going to go to the start location, as you can see on the remote control screen there. And it won't take too long. It's saying here about 2 minutes 42. I will put up the volume so you can hear. There you go. You can see it's just being taking their nice speed. Excellent. And those little blue triangles that you see on the map there, that's the waypoints. So here we are coming up to the next waypoint here. And you've got the distance to the waypoint on the left hand side of the compass. So like 30 meters now away, and then it's going to turn. It's all doing really well here. Nice sunny day. And what it does is when the imagery is being taken from the drone, it basically downloads onto the remote control, and then the remote control will upload it onto FlightHub too. And that's because I have my hotspot on in the field, and the hotspot is from my mobile phone. Here we are, just coming over to the edge now. We'll take a few downward pictures of the houses, because there'll be something later that I do in terms of change detection when we come out and do this same mission, which will be really fun. There we are, just getting now onto the last little run, and then we will get that elevation run. It's going at a rapid rate of knots there, 15 meters a second. But with the great camera, it's fantastic. And now it's just coming to the end, and what it will do is it will just turn around and it will gimbal up slightly so that we get that elevation run, which will help in the processing just to get a little bit of elevation data in. There we are, last little bit, and then just coming to the edge now. There we are, and you can see in the top it says 30. So that's what it's doing now, just uploading the information there. I'm just going to pause it now, just because there's a lady with a dog. So going to bring it over to myself, and then what I'll do is we're going to keep this on here, we're going to keep the drone on, and we're going to keep the remote control on so that everything can be uploaded. So it's at the moment it's at 35 images, and we're just bringing the drone down now, as you can see, and there I am. So what we're going to do now is just basically land on my hand, and yeah, we're just going to keep the drone on, and we're going to keep the screen record on so that you can see, yeah, 40 images at the moment uploaded, which is great. And if I click now on here, there we go, look, so in progress, yeah, photos 214 were taken, it's downloaded 214 onto the remote control, and now what it needs to do is upload those images now up to the cloud via my Wi-Fi hotspot. And that's my Wi-Fi hotspot there, which is my phone. And there we are, we're going well, we've just got really about another 110 or so to go. And this is a great feature to have, so if you are out in the field and you want to not wait too long to have your mapping completed, so you may be 2 hours away from your home location, then what you can do is use this system. You may have Starlink or something rather than a mobile phone if you are out in an area which, you know, could be sort of in the wilds with no real telephone reception. So you can use this, get all the mapping done, and to be honest, by the time that you're probably back in the office or back at home, you'll find that it's all completed, which is really, really good. Here we are, 57 images. Oh sorry, 57%. We've just got now at 125 images that have been uploaded. So I'm just going to place the drone down here before I just go back home, and then we will have a look on the computer and we'll see what it looks like. So I'm just here now, just waiting. There we are. So less than 100 left to go now, which is really good. And there you are. You can see the tracks as well. So the white lines are the tracks that the drone has made. And if you want to delete those because you're doing another mission on the same day, etc., then you just have to press that little eraser button on the right hand side of the remote. There you go. Because sometimes it can get a bit complicated when you've got lots of different flights going on throughout a day and you want to know where you are and what you're doing. Let's just click back. Yeah, 146 images have been uploaded, which is great. surprisingly, it's sort of a little bit warm and a little bit cold in the UK at the moment, simply because, well, it has been a heat wave, but today got clouds and stuff, which is a nice relief actually. There we are, 154 images. You can also see when I click on the little cloud here, that's all up there. But the reason why you've got that little box now, which is a little bit separate on the right hand side, this is specifically that box for your internet cloud reconstruction. So here we are, 165. And what I'll do when I get back is we'll open up FlightHub 2 and then take a few sort of screen records of that so you can see what it looks like. And if you remember with my smart 3D capture that I did with the roof at St Mary's Church, it'll be the same sort of process, but because it's 2D, it's just completely automatic. I don't need to worry about anything and choose any specific file formats or anything, because it will just come out as a normal TIFF or a GeoTIFF as it were. And I made sure that I had the RTK on as well, just to aid things in terms of the geo-referencing. And what you will find is that with the battery on the Matrice, as the weather gets colder around winter time, or if you're quite high up and it is cold, then the battery lifespan, or basically after it's charged up, will be less. And particularly in winter time, I sometimes find that missions that I can fly on half a battery in the summer, I will need a whole battery, or sometimes I'll need to bring a charger with me in order to recharge one or two of my batteries, because I've got 4 of them, but in the winter I need to use more. And it's just how the battery operates. You're just on the last 10 images now. Excellent, so we've really got only about 4 left now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk home. It's just round the corner really. And we will have a look on FlightHub 2 to see what it looks like. And there's also going to be something else amazing with the final product as well, which I think you'll find really interesting. So I'll see you back there. So here I am in FlightHub 2, and because I've got a subscription, I now have a dashboard which gives me sort of indications of my flights and things like that, and some other data. But I don't need that at the moment. All I need to do in this case is go to my projects up in the top center, and you won't believe how easy this is. So this is just going to whir around and load stuff up. What you need to do is just make sure that you enter the project that you had on your remote control when you planned and flew this mission. So it's doing that now. So we'll just wait out. It's zooming in somewhere. What is it doing? It's just rendering itself. And there we are. At the bottom right, that's it. 10 minutes later, it has created this map and it's overlaid it onto that underlying map that we have there. And that's it all there. And there's a few great things actually about this map. So what I'm going to do is click on map models in the left hand side. And this will bring up all the models that you have on FlightHub 2 and whether you have them loaded and things along those lines. So I'm just going to click off this a minute, which is the elevation data. And that comes about because of that elevation run that happened at the end. Now if you look at my mouse cursor and then you look at the ASL at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll see it says about 65 meters. And as the mouse moves over trees, it doesn't move up or anything, you know, that's like 64 meters and then it comes back down. But that's exactly what you'd expect, just because of the nature of that elevation layer. I'm now going to move over to this side where I have my 2D map models and 3D map models. And I'm going to click here where it says load elevation data. So click on that. And what it will do now is it will be loading elevation data because you just asked it to by clicking on that. So you see where my mouse is, it says 67 meters, and I'm just going to move it over, and there we are. You see it jumping up now, 87 meters, and then it will start to come down, 84, 83, and then so on through that mapping area. And if you want to focus on it, just press recenter, and that will put that in the center for you there. Right? And it is in the center if I were to take away that side panel. So that is fantastic. And one other thing as well, what you can do is we will go to the resource library, which is at the bottom left hand corner. And from here, we will see where it comes up and it says models. So it's just going to whir around while it sort of picks everything out. So we did cloud mapping, and that's what all of these are. These are all sort of cloud mapping, whatever you've done. And then here, you can click on the three dots. So you can cancel that overlay. You can set a few other bits and bobs if you wanted to. You can even download it as well. So it will download as a sort of GeoTIFF. We just click in there. Here we are, and then it will sort of open it in a slightly different window. Excellent. And you'll see there'll be previous images that you've done of the same area down at the bottom, so you can click on those to open those up as well. But if the person that you want to send this map to doesn't have a fast computer, or maybe they're on their mobile phone or something, then what you can do is simply click share, enable sharing, and then you will then just sort of click the copy link and password and send that to them in an email. Or you can click on this link here, and then you'll just add the password, and then you're all good to go. Once they open up that link, they will be able to see this anywhere in the world. So you don't actually need to download it. They can view it all online. So this is fantastic. It's just a nice, quick, easy way for you to take imagery on the ground and then have FlightHub 2 process it in no time at all. This is especially just for the 2D models. It does the 3D as well, but it will take longer. And that I've detailed in my smart 3D capture for a roof inspection, which at the moment will be members only, but will be released to the public later. So I hope that you have found that useful and sort of think, actually, do I use FlightHub 2 or do I use Terra or do I use another sort of photogrammetry software? So thank you very much indeed, and I will catch you on the next video. Hello everyone, B2 Williams here from Sky Eye Imagery. If you're flying enterprise drones using FlightHub 2, or you want to increase your understanding of mission planning and workflow skills, this membership is designed specifically for you. I've created the Enterprise Access and Enterprise Pro members only areas where I can give you deeper training, clearer guidance and more direct support than I can in public videos. So as a member, you'll get member only live streams where you can ask questions in real time, FlightHub 2 deep dives and workflow breakdowns, priority replies to your technical questions, early access to new tutorials, member-only shorts with quick tips and behind-the-scenes insights, and occasional templates to help with mission planning and enterprise workflows. These sessions are focused on real-world flying, mapping, inspections, RTK, gimbal angles, overlaps, planning logic, and everything that actually matters when you're out on a job. This isn't entertainment, it's practical, professional training for pilots who want to fly smarter and get more from their equipment. If you want to support this channel and join a community of pilots who are serious about improving their skills, hit the join button and become part of the Sky Eye Imagery Enterprise team. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next members only session.